What? This is twice now that Alan has identified an audio issue. Thank you so much. Yeah. Sometimes you're piloting all of the controls and you forget to put the wheels down when you're approaching on your descent. So the intro was broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere in between two formerly tariff nations. My name is Brian Engelman. It's Tuesday, February 11, 2025. Thank you, Alan. Appreciate you. Alan and I watched the Super Bowl the other day, and I have a funny story that yes, it is better. It's way better. Appreciate you. See, the comments aren't just for you, they're for me. This is an actual exchange of information. On the Agree to Disagree show, we're allowed to have different opinions, and I encourage feedback. I encourage comments and commentary from you, the listener. This is a back and forth game of tennis. It's not just me, practicing my serve all day in a game of tennis. It's me playing an actual human being. And so thank you for that. I was saying join the New American Media by following us and liking whatever you're watching us now. It looks like Alan's on YouTube. Hit like, hit subscribe. You probably already do. But we're on Facebook and Instagram, although we did get banned from Instagram earlier today. Our account was suspended. They needed our email address and my cell phone number to get back on track. And it looks like we are back on track on Instagram. So follow us, Instagram and Facebook, The New American Media. We have TNAM's The Agree to Disagree show group on Facebook. Subscribe there. On Truth Social, Rumble, and YouTube, we are The New American Media. Patreon.com/The New American Media. Thank you to our newest subscriber there. Your monthly donations really help keep everything going. We are growing, and we intend to be a full-time production crew and adding to it based on your donations, based on your kindness and goodwill. Speak of the devil, there's Kenneth. Kenneth has been a longtime supporter of the show. We appreciate you, Kenneth, for sure. Kenneth is always cracking jokes in the group, making everything more fun. So follow us in all the places. Also, the Agree to Disagree show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Those are growing as well. I've never downloaded a podcast in my life, but I know some of you do. So please link up with us there. Like I said, patreon.com/The New American Media. And Truth Social, The New American Media, I think I said, and TNAM and TNAM chat on Signal and Telegram. You are saying that something is happening with Epstein on the Benny Johnson show. Now, I just saw, let me look that up in real time. I just saw Glenn Beck on with Patrick Bet-David saying that there's going to be in 10 days a release. Yeah. Okay, this is exactly what I was saying. Let me go ahead and pull up this. This is what Glenn Beck was saying to Patrick Bet-David. Dom Luke, how do you say it? Lucree? I like Dom Lucree. Maybe that's true or not. I don't know. But he's saying here, breaking news, Jeffrey Epstein client list and files will be released on the first day of Kash Patel's tenure as FBI director. This has been confirmed by Glenn Beck. Okay, there we go. It's finally true. This bribery and blackmail campaign by the deep state, by Mossad, by all the alphabet agencies, by anybody who has any bit of power and control in this planet, they've been messing with us for too long and abusing kids in the process. We're done with it. This isn't your universe anymore. It's ours. Absolutely. So yeah, I think Kash Patel they're saying Tulsi is on her way to being confirmed now. They had 30 hours from when they sent it to cloture. I thought Tulsi was, no, that's for Tulsi. Bobby was supposed to be right after that. I think they're trying to drag their feet on Kash Patel because look, here's the story you need to know about Jeffrey Epstein. The people that the spider web caught, and that's what it was. Epstein was a spider web. If you were dumb enough to go to the island and get yourself filmed living out all of your wildest dreams. Yes, okay, she's not 18, so it's a little weird, but it's all right. She's just 17 and a half. Turns out she's 14. Or even, God, we don't even know how bad it was at the Diddy parties and the Epstein parties, but Diddy was the spider web of Hollywood. Epstein was the spider web of politicians, corporations. And so these were all honeypots. They were designed to get people under your power and control, so that all the weird policies, and every time you see people promoting weird shit and backward stuff, well, you know what's happening. These people are completely compromised is what's happening. They're working for the deep state. Otherwise, they're going to blow up their marriage. They're going to release it to the public. They're going to be exposed. They're going to get fired. They're going to lose their pensions. Like they're compromised. The deep state does not want to lose their assets. These are human assets, human guinea pigs, human props, human puppets. However you want to define it. Of course, the deep state doesn't want to lose them. I don't give a shit. Neither do you. Nobody does. It's demonic what they've been up to. This off the Patrick Bet David podcast, shared from Kennecoa the Great. They're great. If somebody could use AI to pull up every impersonation I've done and just make a compilation, I'd love to hear if any of them are good. I think my Tony the Tiger is pretty great. How great? I'm not doing it again. Could it be Satan? That's a Dana Carvey. All right, here's Glenn Beck on Patrick Bet David podcast.
The only thing I care about is the scandal of the pedophiles, and in the next 10 days, you're going to see the Epstein file released.
In the next 10 days?
Next 10 days.
Oh, please.
You think in the next 10 days the whole thing's going to be released?
Yeah.
And what kind of information you have to be?
Did he just yell, "Thanks, Drake"? That's so weird, because like that one of the Super Bowl things I wanted to mention was Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Because that's going to be a cultural moment now. All these pedos. Oh, it's happening. God, the left tried to normalize that pedo crap. Oh, all the creepiness into the schools. Just trying to convince kids that aren't old enough to get a tattoo or smoke a pack of cigarettes or join the army, or what you do for the Navy. You're just a baby getting recruited at 18. You're on a plane now eating their food and their baked beans. I'm 28. They gonna take you for they take me. That's Eminem. Yeah, they were trying to normalize the hell out of the pedo crap. The Democrats, the deep state. Oh, they were trying to normalize it. It didn't work. It actually had a counterproductive impact. But anyway, I think he says here in the background, "Thanks, Drake."
You think in the next 10 days the whole
Drake.
thing's going to be released?
Yeah.
And what kind of information you have to be able to be that certain about it?
Drake and Drake.
I plead the fifth.
Glenn's not giving
in
up
the next
source.
10
The
days.
next 10 days.
Oh,
Glenn,
please.
Yeah.
stop it.
Next 10 days.
You're
I'm telling
teasing millions who want that list.
Day number 1, Kash Patel walks in. By the end of the day, it will be released.
Oh, please.
Did Kash Patel get confirmed yet?
Not yet. They
Not
delayed
yet.
And did RFK get confirmed yet?
Not yet.
Tulsi?
None of them, though.
House, not Senate. Yeah.
So
All
as
right.
soon as he's confirmed his first day, it will be released.
Oh, I can't wait.
The only thing I
Do you have any idea how exciting this is? It is beyond exciting, folks. It is so overdue. So overdue. Let me play this for you. Just Kenneth has seen this a couple of times. Actually, Kenneth helped fund this. Thank you, Kenneth. This is the documentary that we made. I just want to show it to you real quick. Just the intro. We're not going to show the whole thing. It's only a 30-minute documentary, but as I scroll down my X timeline, Blake Wally and I put this together. We met this dude. His name's Grizzly. He's a tattoo shop owner in Southern Virginia. He took us on a guided tour through Southern Virginia, Tennessee, and Western North Carolina to tour the hurricane damage about a month out. And let me show you what there is to see. Actually, I think if I just go like this, it'll clip off the side, but it'll be bigger. I'm trying to get this as big as... Actually, let me take off the chat overlay. The chat overlay... I love the chat overlay, but I wish I could do it a slightly different way. See, now that's perfect. Now it's like wide right, wide left. It's about as big as I can get it. Actually, or I could just share this tab. Let me try something different. We'll go this way. And then we'll get into the news of today, including news of the day. Where is the list of the news of the day? The FEMA 4 have been fired for fraud. Oh, yeah, this is directly related to this Hurricane Helene story. Help on the way. J.D. Vance addresses AI. Hegseth strengthens the military. In California, still counting votes? These will be some of the topics amongst the others that we play today. But here's this one, just the first intro, hoping you have a chance to go to Rumble, watch this, like this, share this, please. Here we go.
There was no notifications going to your phone, like an Amber Alert, like evacuate. I get alerts from Denny's. There actually was a bunch of houses right here that are here now. You can see, look how big the river is, like the riverbed. Holy, look at this Dollar General, bro.
Yeah, it's
It blesses your heart to see the way people have come together.
Yeah.
I heard like 4 different people talking about like how everybody's just worried this initial hop's gonna die away and people are just gonna forget about it. And really none of these communities can afford to be forgotten.
That is the documentary that we made.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
So, yes, your assistance helps fund stuff like this. And your continued liking and sharing of this content, watching of it, all of it adds up. The minutes watched adds up. We are actually monetized on Rumble. But yeah, please check out that documentary that we made there. All right, let's continue to go through. What's the best way? Maybe that'll be the best way. Let's share this tab instead. Go side by side. Almost. Now, see, I like the chat overlay, but like it clips off the little edge of the side. I just need like if I could tweak it just a little bit. Almost. Maybe top to bottom. Yes, maybe top to bottom. I can try. All right, let's continue on with the news. So yeah, Epstein files are being released. This Jeffrey Epstein victim says, I've spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly, 3 times a day sometimes, and I was not the only girl on that island. There's a constant stream of girls being raped over and over and over again. Yeah, we demand justice on this stuff. 17 years too late. But hey, let's go after him now. All right, let's scroll down here. Let's talk about the FEMA 4 who've been fired. Let's see, how does that shape up? I guess you can see it. Okay, we'll try it this way. The FEMA 4 have been fired, and these are some of the people that have been screwing around with the assistance payments to the people suffering because of Hurricane Helene. Let's take a listen.
Fox News Alert moments ago, we received this together. We received a statement from the DHS regarding the $59 million sent from FEMA to New York City migrants last week. Quote, 4 employees being fired today for circumventing leadership and unilaterally making the egregious payment for hotels for migrants in New York City. We have not announced it yet, so we have it first. There's going to be firings, the names are going to be out, and let's bring in New York Congressman Mike Lower. Congressman, your thought about that move?
I mean, guys, they just stole $59 million from FEMA to give it to illegal alien invaders. This is after the new administration has been on the job for 3 weeks now, clearly saying we don't do that anymore. That doesn't fly around here anymore. And they're still stealing your money. The FEMA dollars meant to rebuild the lives of these people who've had everything taken away from them in Western North Carolina. Full Epstein ahead. Yeah. The FEMA 4 have been fired.
Well, it's long overdue, frankly.
Overdue.
These funds have been misappropriated going back to the Biden administration.
And they should have never been able to be misappropriated in the first place. FEMA funds have nothing to do with illegal alien invasions. Nothing. Zero. You should have never been able to code that as something other than the code. But it's like Elon saying with Doge. There are no codes. It's Social Security. You can have duplicate entries. I'm sorry, why do you even have a system? The amount of fraud that we're uncovering is it's breathtaking, but it also is starting to explain so much. It's like, how is everything so backward? Well, it's all backward because nobody's doing their damn job.
And New York City, a sanctuary city, has been wasting billions of dollars of taxpayer money.
By the way, sanctuary cities are no more as well. Sanctuary cities have never been a valid structure to set up in this country, clearly violating the immigration law. There's a proper way to walk into a nightclub. You walk to the front door, you wait in the line, you show your ID. You pay your cover charge. That's how you get into a nightclub. The United States needs a bouncer at the front of the door. It's that simple. And it's always been that simple.
Billions with a B to provide free housing, clothing, food, education, and health care to illegal immigrants, including criminal aliens that are here illegally. And so, you know, I applaud, frankly, DHS for taking action to stop these payments under President Trump's leadership, because we have incentivized cities like New York and states like New York, a sanctuary state, to allow this to continue.
That
and it
has
has
to
to stop.
Look, it cost New York, and it's a little selfish of us, billions of dollars because the water was wide open for 4 years. And the mayor that spoke up got exiled in the Democratic Party. Ironically, he's about to be, I guess, in a way, pardoned or
cleared of charges. They're not gonna pursue it. They went after Mayor Eric Adams because he's like, can't handle this. This is nuts. Like, we have to take care of our citizens. So they tried to destroy him. The deep state Democrat demons hate you, and they tried ruining anyone that would go against their agenda. Well, it's time we go against them and their agenda. Full steam ahead. Full steam ahead.
or protected by this president, who sees a lot of the targeting of Mayor Eric Adams as the same thing that happened to him.
No question. Eric Adams spoke out against what the Biden administration was doing. He said that the migrant crisis was, quote unquote, destroying New York City.
It was.
Kathy.
By the way, I went to the Bronx last year, right before President Trump got shot, and the people in the Bronx were furious. They're like, we can't go to the bodega and get a bag of groceries for $100 anymore. It's hard to live. And our money's being spent on non-Americans living in our community? Hell no. They were furious. Furious. That was probably when I was certain that President Trump was going to win, when people in the Bronx were able to identify the fraud and corruption in the fact that the Democrat Party didn't give a shit about them.
Hochul authorized billions of dollars of state taxpayer money to pay for all these expenditures. Meanwhile, she's fleecing hardworking New Yorkers $2,500 just for the privilege of driving to work. It really just speaks volumes to how inept, incompetent, and corrupt New York has become under feckless leadership. We have to stop this massive influx at the border, which is what President Trump is doing. But we have to stop incentivizing states and cities like New York by spending billions, and in this case from FEMA, $59 million to support their efforts to circumvent federal law. That's really what this boils down to. States like New York are circumventing federal law, allowing illegal immigrants to get benefits and access to taxpayer money.
And it turns out that, you remember that lie, like, oh, illegal aliens don't take any of our public services. Wait till we uncover what's been going on at the Social Security Administration. The fact that they haven't been able to identify and stop duplicates. Oh, my Lord. Like, the amount of fraud that's on the way, the exposure is going to be absolutely overwhelming.
All right, so let's talk about something else that's just bizarre that's happening in New York. New York's top court set to consider non-citizen voting in New York City elections today. Get this. Non-citizens, you don't belong here, you're not registered, blowing off court appearance, doesn't matter. That would add 800,000 non-citizen voters. Why is this even a discussion?
Non-citizens voting.
It shouldn't be. New York Republicans fought back against this effort Several years ago, we were victorious in the lower court and the appellate division, and now it goes to the Court of Appeals. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit concerned because the New York Court of Appeals has been corrupted by Kathy Hochul and New York Democrats. This is why they tried to gerrymander our maps again.
Anyway, that's why they're trying to gerrymander it, and that's what's going on there. Donald Trump responds here saying billions of dollars of fraud. Hang on, let me see what screen am I using. I guess you can see that. Maybe this will be the best we can get. This screen. I like this screen, but this is what happens. If I remove the chat overlay, well, that doesn't work. I can do it that way or that way, but I can't do it that way. So let's go up and down with the chat overlay. Alan's playing his stock picks. Heavy short at 50 cents. I'm going to do IEP, I can enterprise. All right. New York are the new dorks. A new SEC chair to get the deep state out of the market, too. All right. Donald Trump here. President Trump says billions of dollars of fraud, waste, and abuse has already been found in the investigation of our incompetently run government. Now, certain activists and highly political judges want us to slow down or stop. Losing this momentum will be very detrimental to finding the truth, which is turning out to be a disaster for those involved in running our government. Much left to find. No excuses. Agreed. Chicago Ray here is saying, today's a good day for Speaker Johnson to impeach Obama Judge Paul A. Engelmayer, not to be confused with Brian Engelman. That's me. If you agree, let him know. He's tagged in this post. And if you reply, he'll see this. Yeah, these judges that are activists, they need to go. Representative Eli Crane ain't playing around. He's a good one. I don't know if you're familiar with his work, but he's been doing some really good stuff. Representative Eli Crane says, I'm drafting articles of impeachment for U.S. District Judge Paul Engelmayer. Yeah, don't sully my last name. It's too close. Partisan judges abusing their positions is a threat to democracy. The left has done irreparable harm to this country. President Trump and his team at Doge are trying to fix it. Well said. Well said. Next. This is going on. Look, artificial intelligence, it's used for more than just quick searches or trying to get funny images or something. There's a lot of compelling thoughts on artificial intelligence. Vice President J.D. Vance, he has a few words for the international community. Where are they at? They're at the AI Action Summit in Paris, France.
Now, we've also watched as hostile foreign adversaries have weaponized AI software to rewrite history, surveil users, and censor speech.
Yeah, see, that's a plot of a project that I'm working on, is that they try to ban the written word. The written word is way more powerful than we recognize. And the reason, well, I won't reveal too much of the plot, but they're trying to ban the written word. Everything needs to be digital. And when everything's digital, you can update it in real time. You see, in 1984, they were constantly rewriting the books. But if you kind of flip the script there and everything's digital, you just make an update, you hit return, and then the past is gone. It never happened. You ever tried to find a story that you know happened? You ever try to look up Joan Rivers, Obama, before she died? Like, try to find that clip, and it's like, this clip is nowhere to be found. Then you go, oh, shit, I'm using Google. Of course they're lying to me. You can't rely on Google for an accurate search, by the way. You know that right now, right? I do like using Grok way more than Google. You can't use Google. Start page. What are some of the others? What's one I use? Anyway, countries using AI to change the past. Well, look, I mean, Obama was trying to change the past, trying to change our country's history, trying to rename things, tear down the history. It's like, look, history is a thing. It doesn't mean it's all celebrated. It doesn't mean it's all lauded. It just means it's a part of history. At some point, these people were important enough to name military bases after, to make statues of. And it doesn't mean you worship at the altar. It means here's a person from this area that did a thing. And if you want to add context, then you go ahead and build a second statue in that same park and add the context that you want. and say, while this statue was erected in this year, we put this one up to show you, to give you a well-rounded blah, blah, blah about the story. You don't delete the history, you add to it. But the demons want to kind of rewrite the present. What does Rage Against the Machine say? Who controls the past now? Controls the future. Who controls the present now? Controls the past. And the song is Now Testify. It's a good song. Commie vocalist, but I do like the band. Anyway, yes, it is definitely something we need to be concerned about. The totalitarian governments are going to try to change history. Like I said, we're just now with these 4 years of the stolen, whatever these fake 4 years of Biden were, the third Obama term, kind of reemerging like the groundhog seeing its shadow, like, oh, I'm out of my hole. This is, oh my God, it's glorious. You emerge from a river of shit like Andy Dufresne at the end of Shawshank Redemption. You're just like, taking off your shirt. You're like, I'm out. I'm in the, I can breathe fresh air. I can have the rain hit my face. This is great. So yeah, JD Vance is right. You got to be wary about countries, despots trying to change the past. You know, they'd all like to, because everybody has dark chapters of your history. You don't learn by whitewashing those parts of history. You learn by explaining those, but then talking about the future. Unfortunately, what the U.S. academia has decided to do, along with the Obama nudge, the Cass Sunstein nudging you in that direction, with the lying legacy media, it's to constantly dwell on all of the negative and never talking about the positive, never talking about the future. It's all about shame and guilt from the past so that you shut up and they ram through all the weird shit that they have in their hearts. Try to ram through the weirdness in their hearts. So anyway, JD's got a point here.
This is hardly new, of course. As they do with other tech, some authoritarian regimes have stolen and used AI to strengthen their military, intelligence, and surveillance capabilities, capture foreign data, and create propaganda to undermine other nations' national security. I want to be clear. This administration will block such efforts, full stop. We will safeguard American AI and chip technologies from theft and misuse, work with our allies and partners to strengthen and extend these protections, and close pathways to adversaries attaining AI capabilities that threaten all of our people. And I would also remind our international friends here today that partnering with such regimes, it never pays off in the long term.
That's a good point right there. Like, yeah, in the beginning, you might feel like, oh, wow, this is great. Ooh, a shiny little worm. I sure am hungry today. Let me take a nibble. Let me swim over to that shiny little worm. That looks delicious. I'll take a bite. Well, JD wraps it up here pretty nicely about why you don't deal with these totalitarian regimes.
Pays off in the long term. From CCTV to 5G equipment, we're all familiar with cheap tech in the marketplace that's been heavily subsidized and exported by authoritarian regimes. But as I know, and I think some of us in this room have learned from experience, partnering with them means chaining your nation to an authoritarian master that seeks to infiltrate, dig in, and seize your information infrastructure. Should a deal seem too good to be true, just remember the old adage that we learned in Silicon Valley: if you aren't paying for the product, you are the product.
Hey, that was a nice, strong message there. If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. Donald Trump posts from his Truth Social, moving along here. California just stopped counting their votes on the 2024 presidential election. Voter ID is totally barred. In fact, it is illegal for voting officials to even ask to see a person's identification. This cannot be made up. A Donald Trump post from today. Yeah, from today. 6:07 a.m. Dude just works nonstop. Yeah, and why would you oppose voter ID? The only reason is to cheat. Look at the places where there were no voter ID. It looks like Kamala Harris won every place or close to it. If this is an accurate map, I've seen this before. If there's tweaks to it, I'm open to understand differently. But the places where there is no voter ID, the Democrats were able to cheat their way in. Sean Humphrey saying the Democrats cheated and gained at least 20 seats in the House 4 seats in the Senate. Panic makes thugs and thieves act. Less Newsom, more Trump. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know what it's going to take. The SAVE Act or something similar. If we're going to be a nation of 50 separate states, we have to have a consistent set of criteria for votes for elections. I don't think we need voting machines. I'm certain we don't need voting machines. They don't make things cheaper or faster or more accountable, more auditable. Oh, our software is proprietary. Oh yeah, and we're totally not going to log into the internet. I mean, we have the capability to, but trust us. Nope. Paper ballots. Count them. Double count them. Put your number on them. Put them in a box. Set them to the side. Then you can audit all day long. You keep them for 7 years, however long. Is the Tulsi vote going through today? It was yesterday that they invoked cloture, Alan, and then that means they set a 30-hour clock. I think they said maybe tonight at midnight is when it's going to happen, and they said we're going to work through the night and we're going to vote on it tonight to make this happen. I think. Yeah, the SAVE Act. We have a Slave Act right now. So, anyway, this whole California still voting, still counting votes. It's absolutely absurd. I want to talk about this. Agree or disagree that Pete Hegseth is going to make the military strong again. This is from open source intel. Pete Hegseth kicked off his day in Germany, training with the elite Green Berets of 110 SFG, one of the U.S. Army's most formidable special forces units. Never seen a U.S. Secretary of Defense do this before. That dude's a beast. Wish that guy could play defensive end or left tackle for my team. Hegseth out there running first thing in the morning. Doing what? Deadlifts or he's doing the whoop. I don't know what he's doing exactly, but yeah. Strength. Isn't it nice to have strength in the military again instead of dudes in dresses and DEI and trying to change the way you talk and change the way it's like, how about just strength? Obviously mental strength as well, but this is such an upgrade. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth on working out alongside of military members. Here, let's listen in his words.
You made a point to do PT with 10th group this morning on very little sleep. Why was it so important for you to do this? And tell us about the workout.
I did do PT with the troops this morning.
PT's physical training?
Listen, it's not that long ago that I was right there with them. I probably, no offense, General, I probably connect more with those guys than I do with four-star generals. But now I get the chance of working with four stars and others who are committed to the troops. But when I can get down, do push-ups and deadlifts with the troops and just hear from them, what's working, what isn't, how do you see your mission set? I love that. So there was never a doubt, even though we got in at 2 a.m, that we were getting up a couple hours later to go do PT. It's a reminder that you guys, the press in Washington, might think I'm.
Yeah.
Young, but in military terms, I'm old. And that showed this morning with these young guys who ran circles around me in that parking lot.
You made a.
Hey, I like showing strength. And by the way, as I scroll down through the stories here, you might hear about President Trump setting a deadline, noon on Saturday. If all of the hostages are not released, hell is going to be unleashed on the Hamas people over there. President Trump is done playing games. We're not going to slow walk this. I heard Pete Hegseth say something along the lines of, look, any chance we have, any opportunity possible, we want to go ahead and deliver peace through strength. We want to negotiate and we want to resolve conflict. But if a conflict is what's going to happen, we're going to use every ounce of military might, 100% complete domination until it's over. Boot on the neck, finish the job, go in and crush. And so if these hostages are not removed by Saturday, you're going to see the first major military act of the President Trump presidency, part due. There was a Somali ISIS cave that was blown up, so I guess it's not the first one. This would be the first. I heard that video was supposed to be released. I haven't seen that released. I don't know why it hasn't been, but the story's out there. Point being, if Hegseth has to get serious, if those hostages are not completely returned by Saturday at noon, we're going to see what Pete Hegseth is made of. We're going to see what the U.S. military is made of. All right. Let's see. Alan saying, yet the Democrat congressmen and women who wanted to storm the Department of Education are showing their ID. I know. That's, isn't that something? Here's a good point. Alan saying, I want to see all generals go through their physical training yearly test. Let's see how many of them pass. Hey. All right. Kenneth's in. He agrees. And if you can't pass, Alan says, get them out. Kenneth replying, yeah, pilots have to do it to remain fit. We need to have a much higher emphasis on fitness. And Bobby Kennedy can't get into office soon enough to stop the poison that's damaging humanity right now. We grew up in a world full of poison. Let's kind of reconfigure that, shall we? Can I go side by side? I can sort of go side by side. All right, let's continue scrolling and giving you all the news that you need. Pete Hegseth, Gunther Eagleman is reporting. Pete Hegseth got 2 hours of sleep, woke up early for PT with troops, met with foreign officials, and is now holding a press conference. He is exactly the person I want leading our Defense Department. This type of work ethic was extinct in the Biden administration. You can say during the third Obama term with the puppet Joe Biden up there. Benny Johnson reporting this. It's cutting enough. Talk on it. I love the chat overlay, but I love this even more. Look how perfectly it fits in the screen. Alan had to pass the physical therapy to stay in. Physical training. Yeah, PT. I hear PT, I think physical therapy. Oh, here, let me just get my screen off. Let me just get out of here. It's not that much bigger. It's not that much bigger either. Grumble, rumble. I said meh. Okay. Benny Johnson reporting, this is big. Senior Department DHS official has just confirmed to me that FEMA's chief financial officer, Mary Comins, was just fired for illegally funding migrant luxury hotels in New York City against the orders of President Trump. Comins is arguably the most powerful person at FEMA, controlling billions of dollars in funding. Effective immediately, FEMA is terminating the employment of 4 individuals for circumventing leadership to unilaterally make egregious payments for luxury New York City hotel. Whoever decided this was an acceptable idea? Hey, people that snuck into the country, we need to put you up at the Ritz. Here's a 4-star, 5-star hotel. Come on in. Yeah, I know everybody around you is struggling, but hey, you should live high on the hog because why? Reasons. Whoever came up with this idea and whoever said, I can't do that. I can't approve that. Why did nobody stand up and say, I can't do that? I'm telling you, the Obama doctrine, the poison that flowed through our country for 12 to 16 years, pushing their weird agendas, their anti-American drivel, their piracy of our blood and treasure. It's all coming to account right now. The firings include FEMA's chief financial officer, 2 program analysts, and a grant specialist. Under President Trump and Secretary Noem's leadership, DHS will not sit idly and allow deep state activists to determine the will and safety of the American people. This is an earthquake. Here's another one breaking. We're about to find out what Pam Bondi is made of. Any FBI agent involved in leaking that ICE raid better go to prison, says Jesse Kelly. Not resignations, not reprimands, not security clearances revoked. Prison for a long time. Here's Tom Homan talking about this. It was leaked that there was about to be a raid. And you know what? It's going down here too. And it needs to. You better tread very lightly messing with this administration. We are done being a laughingstock and a doormat.
Tom Homan. Tom, where are these leaks coming from?
A person leaked the ICE raid info. But now they're saying the Department of Justice has identified the person who was doing it.
Well, look, we think it's coming from inside. And we know the first leak of Aurora is under current investigation. We think we identified that person under investigation right now. The California leak, Secretary Noem, she's correct. Some of the information we're receiving tends to lead toward the FBI. But I talked to the Deputy Attorney General all this weekend. They've opened up a criminal investigation, and they have promised that not only this person lose their job and lose their pension, they're going to go to jail. They're going to criminally prosecute. So we're all over it.
Tom Holman.
They're all over it, allegedly. Now a whistleblower, according to George Behezy tweets, a whistleblower has come forward saying Kash Patel has been working behind the scenes to purge corrupt FBI employees even before getting confirmed. The whistleblower makes it sound as if it's a bad thing. No, we love this and want more of this. Do we have any more info? Because it is breaking. Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem say they will prosecute everyone involved in leaking the ICE raid plans, calling it a serious threat to national security. Yeah. Hang on. This was... What's the latest? I feel like something new has occurred. This one here, Fraternal Order of Police says on behalf of more than... Fraternal Order of Police put out this statement on Rapid Response 47 saying on behalf of the more than 377,000 members of the Fraternal Order of Police, Kash Patel has our full support and confidence to be the next director of the FBI. All right, I thought we might have a name here. They're saying that they have the information. All right, so we'll get to that when we get to that. They're saying the FBI leaker has been identified, awaiting finding out what's going to happen there. No, PT is physical training, not party time, Kenneth. Alan saying you also have to pass weight according to your height. If you're fat, then fat test. Fit test, fat test. Kenneth saying I have some concerns if so many with government jobs enter the unemployed. How will that be? Well, just, Kenneth, just consider them to be unvaccinated, right? The Biden administration under Obama and his cronies, they had no problem firing people that didn't want to get vaccinated. So just consider them unvaccinated. No big deal, just like the Democrats did, right? Tit for tat, this for that, right? Right. Or, what was the other thing they said? Learn to code. Remember when they said learn to code? Oh, no, your job is, you don't get to work your job. Learn to code. You better do something new. Learn to code. And Alan saying unemployment does not happen if you take a payout. Yeah, that's true. They've been offered, what were they offered? They were offered 8 months or 9 months. I think it was eight or 9 months of paid leave, and that'll give them time to figure out where they're going to be working. Let me switch the screen here. This is another one from President Trump, who never stops. Every day he's knocking out new item after new item. It's pretty breathtaking. President Trump just ordered this. I'll just read Trump's words instead of Charlie Kirk. Although Charlie Kirk does say, enough harassing Americans over picky crap. President Trump says, I am hereby instructing Secretary Lee Zeldin to immediately go back to my environmental orders, which were terminated by crooked Joe Biden, on water standards and flow pertaining to sinks, showers, toilets, washing machines, dishwashers, etc. And to likewise go back to the common sense standards on light bulbs that were put in place by the Trump administration, but terminated by crooked Joe. I look forward to signing these orders. Thank you. So how about that? That's a good thing, right? A lot of people say these other light bulbs are really bad for you, actually. And people don't like how they look. So there you go. All right, let's go to the next story. Is this the same? Well, this is a 15-minute clip from Charlie Kirk about the artificial intelligence. You can watch this at American_media_. Please make sure you're following us on X. And if you're not on X, start an account, because X is one of the only good platforms out there. This one here is this woman at the House Judiciary Committee, February 7. Proponent testimony saying she's a family physician with no conflict of interest. describing the most destructive and lethal medical products ever given in the human history. You can go to the VAERS, VAERS alone to read that data. We're still not even really able to talk about that, but if you inject certain things, you got to be ready for it. All I know is my buddy over there really lost his mobility, and he got an mRNA shot, and he's, it's really helped him. I don't know, not an expert. Look, as we're talking about the corruption in FEMA, I want to go back and play this one remember this? Remember when a FEMA official justified, well, let's just hear her words, shall we? FEMA official.
And someone feels uncomfortable, we can't go to that home. If you have loose dogs and someone on the team is comfortable with dogs and another person is not, we can't go to that home because of safety precautions.
So you feared the Trump houses. The people on FEMA were fearing the Trump houses like they were fearing people with vicious dogs in their backyard.
Exactly. And that
exactly?
That's based on the trends. You can ask FEMA
based on the trends. Avoiding FEMA help to people with Trump signs. That is astonishing. This video here from Wall Street Apes. Hey, let's look into the Department of Defense. They're providing school lunches in America? What type of secret deals are going on there? Thought the DOD stood for something else. The Department of Defense is providing the school lunches mandated from the federal government. They mandate who you buy food from. They'll give us hundreds of thousands of dollars, but we can only spend it in their channels. There are specific companies that you're allowed to buy through. We purchase through DOD. They have their own ordering guide, and we purchase through them. But they work out the contracts throughout General Mills, etc. Sucks for you guys, it sucks for us, and it sucks for the kids. In the same respect, if the DOD is supplying the food, and they're the ones who are negotiating these contracts with these mega corporations like, General Mills and Nestle, all of these, then they're incentivized to get the lowest quality at the highest, price. So the more processed, the better for them. So again, it seems like the only options you guys have are the ones that are predetermined anyway, so your options are actually limited. Why is the DOD providing school lunch contracts in America? So check out that video. Roger Stone reporting here. Can I go side by side yet? Sort of. Yeah, there it is. But I like the chat. But I don't like that. If I could take the chat and just condense it a little bit, that'd be so great. I'll go back to top and bottom. How about that? Roger Stone reporting Tulsi Gabbard is confirmed for the position of Director of National Intelligence by the U.S. Senate in a vote of 52 to 47. John Brennan is shitting his pants. Here's Patrick Bet David. Oh, my gosh. Where is $500 billion, and why does the American government support Doge? Ben Bernanke. Remember him?
Who got the money?
To financial institutions in Europe and other countries.
Which ones?
I don't know.
$500 billion, and you don't know who got the money?
The loans go to the central banks, and they.
No, the central banks. The central banks. What would we ever do without central banks? I don't know. Let's get Dr. Ron Paul and Elon to figure that out. What good do central banks do us? Why are they printing money and loaning it to us at interest? What are we even paying interest for? Can't we reimagine a society where we don't have to be debt slaves to bankers? Ben Bernanke, where's $500 billion? I don't know. Gave it to central banks. Oh, you did?
Dollars, and you don't know who got the money?
The loans go to the central banks, and they then put them out to their institutions to try to bring down short-term interest rates in dollar markets around the world.
Oh my God, this is from 2009, the housing crash times.
Well, let's start with which central banks got the money.
There are 14 of them, which are listed I'm sure they're listed in here somewhere.
All right, so who actually made that decision to hand out $1 trillion that way? $500 billion. Who made that decision?
The Federal Open Market Committee.
Okay, and was it done at one time or in a series of meetings?
A series of meetings.
And under what legal authority?
We have a long-standing legal authority to do swaps with other central banks. It's not an emergency authority of any kind.
anything specific about it?
Do you know my counsel says Section 14 of the Federal Reserve Act.
The Federal Reserve Act. Was that properly ratified, or am I misremembering that was crammed through in the middle of the night, that the Titanic may or may not have been involved? Huh. Here, this is from Amuse reporting that a judge has ordered HHS, CDC, and FDA to restore deleted gender ideology web pages. Why? Medicare and transgender older adults. What? DC judge orders Trump to restore web pages related to sex change operations and gender ideology on the HHS, CDC, and FDA websites. Presumably, new presidents are not allowed to delete web pages posted by former presidents? Elon saying this is getting ridiculous. So let's figure out what's going on with this U.S. District Judge John Bates. The Washington, D.C. judge concluded that people in need of so-called gender-affirming care information could die if the web pages were not restored. Why do they keep repeating this lie that people are going to die? It's to give you a shield, a bulletproof excuse to say whatever you want without repercussion. Show the evidence. Can you point to what evidence you're talking about? These are people who are suffering from gender dysphoria disorder. They need some mental health. They need to be counseled with care and compassion and treated as humans. Nobody wants to see anybody expire. And the way to do that is to work with them and talk to them like they're adults and not continue on these paths set up from Biden, aka Obama. These judges are trying to block Trump at every post. At every chance. What is this? Durham. This is about the Durham investigation, and they're terrified that Pam Bondi, Cash, and Tulsi will be confirmed because somebody with balls big enough to charge. Wonder who was leading the grand jury investigating AS and ES and 70 others around Congress 2017 through 21. Podesta and Huma. Okay. Interesting, Brian Cates. Moving on. Yep, this is probably why the Democrats delayed Cash's confirmation, according to Luke Rudowski. This is Glenn Beck saying in 10 days they're going to see the Epstein files. Speaker Mike Johnson, this is shared from Eric Daughtry. Democrats are the Democrats have now latched onto a new shiny object called the rule of law. So here's Mike Johnson. Let's make sense of this all.
As I said last week, the Democratic Party is in a completely different place right now. There's no identified leader of the party. They don't have a clear vision. They seem rudderless. In hopes of finding themselves, they've latched onto this new shiny object called the rule of law. Well, we'd like to welcome them to the concept. It would be admirable if they hadn't spent the last 4 years with their heads buried in the sand while Biden literally trampled over the rule of law with no objection. In fact, many Democrats cheered that lawlessness, like when the Biden administration unconstitutionally forced the middle class to pay the student loans of doctors and lawyers, when they illegally mandated that private companies implement vaccine requirements, when they radically rewrote Title IX to undermine women's rights.
Yep.
Those things were actually illegal, and the Democratic Party cheered it. They didn't oppose it at all. President Trump, by contrast, is taking legitimate executive action to root out waste, fraud, and abuse in all these federal programs. That's what the American people demand and deserve. That's what they voted for. They voted for a real analysis and a real change, transformational kind of change in the way the federal government works. And the only people who take issue with it are these same congressional Democrats who never before had any issue with
the rule of yeah, these Democrats before had never any issue.
Democrats who never before had any issue with unelected staff or even bureaucrats running the White House for the last 4 years.
Biden certainly was out to lunch.
That's not what's happening here. The president has empowered his new cabinet secretaries and the DOJ effort and all of these branches, divisions in the executive branch of government to go and find where the abuses have taken place. And every time something new is unearthed and uncovered and we share it with the people, they applaud that this has been discovered, and they want us to keep going, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, we want you to keep going. Go faster. Double down.
Apparently has adopted.
Yep. Elon Musk, he's getting a kick out of this. Keep talking about big balls, big balls. And so Elon changed his name on X, and he's laughing. Made them say my name.
Now, the disruptor-in-chief, Elon Musk, who apparently has adopted the alias, at least he changed his social media handle to Harry Balls, tweeted this morning, "Democracy in America is being destroyed by judicial coup. An activist judge is not a real judge." And as now,
made them say my name. He's such a 13-year-old kid. I kind of love it. Johnny St. Pete saying they tried to JFK 2.0 Trump. Said it before, I'll say it again. If they can commit fraud among the globe with USAID and journalists, imagine what their wet work murder crews are capable of. Butler will end up being the crime that puts the entirety of them in jail for conspiracy. Yeah, we're hearing a lot of rumors about Shapiro right now, but this is all coming out. And Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania is going to really be held to account. Yeah, it's kind of strange that this guy was given a Medal of Honor by Biden. Huh. This one says, they say Trump is out of, doggone it, I gotta switch the, Okay. They say Trump is out of control, but he's not. He's just out of their control. It's a pretty good one here. Look at that. Can I go side by side? Nope. USAID is the boat. But look at the bottom. CBS, CIA, DHS, DOD, MSNBC, FBI, BBC. It's all so much more corruption under the surface. So we saw Mitch McConnell fall up a flight of stairs this week. We saw this guy, John Larson, representative. He froze up today, had a stroke on the floor, what appears to be a stroke. Went kind of comatose here, could barely get out his words. Liz Churchill says they didn't serve their country as long as they did out of patriotism. They did it because they were stealing from their own citizens. Uh-huh. Yeah, asking Maxine Waters and her entourage some questions. Democrats are violent. Tried to steal his phone twice. Yeah. They don't like being put on blast, do they? No, they don't. Oh, check this out. Here's RFK on with the Breakfast Club. This should be good.
2 years ago, the average cost of a house in this country was $215,000. Today it's $400,000. And the
hold on a second. What was that? Repeat that from the top here. The average cost of a home versus now.
2 years ago, the average cost of a house in this country was $215,000.
$215,000. Kind of sounds about right, actually.
Today it's $400,000.
$400,000. It's doubled in 2 years. Did he say?
And the interest rates you're going to pay on that house have gone from 1% to 7%. So
1% to 7%. That is bloody criminal. Why are we paying interest? What is usury and why are we subject to it? Why are we fucking debt slaves? This stuff is really agitating me. Making the mortgage payment and looking that 98% of what you're paying goes directly to who? Some banker somewhere. Who that? Why? Why can't we come up with a better way? Why can't we? I don't know. Why can't we buy a home with X amount of payments? What are we paying? 7% interest, 6% interest? You want to take a little taste of the apple? Take a little bite of the apple? All right. This is insanity that you're paying more than double what it costs for your thing by the time it's done because they're stealing from us. Usury. What is the definition of usury? The illegal action or practice of lending money at unreasonably high rates of interest. Yeah. Yeah. You know, if there's 1% for overhead and kind of whatever, I get it. I get it a little bit. Alan, you're saying always wait 3 days on tinfoil. What part of the 3 days? What story needs to be waited on? The best way to consume the comments is if each sentence has a full thought, because I'm going so fast I can hardly keep up. Alan saying, hey, I had to pay 5.5% in 1980. Look, I get you, buddy. I had to pay 7.25 on my 80 back in 2006. I had to pay 9.9 on my 20. Yes, my type of loan was an interest-only subprime housing crashing style of loan. No money down, stated income. I had 2 loan modifications, and I kept that place for 15 years. I worked my way through it. 7.25% interest and 9.9 on the 20. And we only did 80-20 so that we could avoid paying an extra PMI because we don't have as much equity in there. It's absurd. It's absurd. Everyone needs a place to live. 1% for some overhead, fine. I get it. Fine, whatever. 6%. Tinfoil on the governor of Pennsylvania. The reports I'm getting on Josh Shapiro are kind of Let me see if I can get that verbatim. I know what you're referencing. Oh, God, that's so funny. You know what? Maybe I can play this if I'm just going to play 12 seconds of it. I'm going to risk this whole stream being shut down to just play this clip. But it is related to the... Oh, Kenneth, this is so good. I love that you're a Simpsons fan to the degree that I am. There's an 11-second clip. Lionel Hutz, attorney at law.
So you don't work on a contingency basis?
No, money down. Oops, shouldn't have this bar association logo here either.
Yeah, oops, I shouldn't have this bar association logo here either. No, money down. Oh, I am so overdue to sit and do a Simpsons binge. God, it's been a long time. Works on contingency. No money down. I love they use a totally different color marker, so it's obvious he changed it. Works on contingency. No money down. God, that's funny. Oh, that is fantastic. All right, let me get back to the show. That was a laugh that I needed today. Good Lord. Speaking of laughs, I've been doing stand-up comedy. Working on it. Got a whole bunch of ideas here. Got to figure out what I'm going to perform next. All right, back to RFK Jr. Jeez.
That house have gone from 1% to 7%, so you're paying 10 times as much for that house you were 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. You're paying 10 times for that, 10 times as much of that house than you were 2 years ago. Oh, God. The interest rates are garbage right now. I know they've been worse, but like this is stupid. You can have a 1%. Anything past that is usury. You can go. These bankers can go straight to hell.
I have 7 kids. They're all between 20, 35 years old. They should be moving into their own homes. But I don't know any of them or any of their friends who are actually buying a home now.
So he doesn't know that any of the friends, nobody's buying homes. That's how you can build some generational wealth. That's one of the best ways that you can, and it's good. It's good for a society that you don't have transient neighbors. You don't want transient neighbors. You want people that grow up in your community, stay in your community, participate in your community, give a shit about your community. You don't want transients. You don't want migrants. You want Americans. You want people who are invested, pot committed in the community that you live in. My last neighborhood was Section 8. More than half the neighborhood was Section 8. 3 or 4 generations of renters that they don't give a shit in the same way. They don't have anything invested in the neighborhood. These people throw trash out their windows. They don't care. They don't have to pick it up. Someone else handles it. It's like perpetually being an 18-year-old kid in a dorm or a 20-year-old kid going off campus for the first time of his life. throw in ragers and you just leave your trash everywhere. You don't care about painting the house or fixing things up. There's a landlord somewhere. Someone at the City of LA Housing Authority will take care of it. I don't care. You want neighbors that care. And you get that through homeownership. No homeownership. No homeownership. Alan said he had to put 5% down in 1980. Yeah, I do think you do need some skin in the game. Now, look, like I said, I got my place with no money down. No money down. I did put nothing down, but I survived and I served that community well for 15 years on the Homeowners Association, managing 25 buildings, 216 units, painting and fixing and roofing and plumbing and driveways and landscaping and security and lighting. And I did everything. I played Sim City in real life, and that was a great experience. It took a lot out of me, though. But when I got the place I'm in now, I think it was an FHA or something similar. It was 3.5% down. So I was able to get this place with 3.5%. Yeah. You don't want to just be, I have no equity in this anyway. I'm just going to let it fall to crap and walk away. I'll just go bankrupt and, yeah, you do want people that are a little bit pot committed. Agreed. Let's get back to RFK Jr. talking about home ownership. No homo ownership.
And one of the reasons for why did the price of housing go up? Well, one, because of the inflation, because we spent $8 trillion on wars and $16 trillion on COVID, which we didn't have.
And let's talk about all the money that were sent to banks for bailouts in 2007, 8, and 9.
So they print money, which caused the price of everything to go up.
That's called rapid inflation, damn near hyperinflation.
More importantly, there's 3 giant corporations.
Yeah, you can talk about the 3 giant corporations, but also if you flood the country with 30 million non-Americans looking for a place to stay, guess what? Now you're competing with illegal alien invaders for a place to stay, which drives the cost of everything up again, which is nuts if you give a shit about the people that live in the country, that if you care about Americans, if you prioritize Americans. Nobody's saying you can't come in the country. We're saying there's a line. Wait in line, show the bouncer your ID, let's run a background check, a health screening, make sure you are who you say you are, make sure that you're not going to be a drain on our system. We're not entitled to let anybody in here that's going to be a drain in our system because our country matters more than you and yours. If you want to come in the right way and provide some value, come on in the right way. So yeah, 30 million illegal alien invaders under the 3rd Obama term called Joe Biden. That raised the rate of the price of homes as well. But he's very correct here. RFK Jr. talking about BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street, whatever it's called, the third one. They're trying to buy up all the private homes. Well, we got to do something about this. We're not going to be perpetual renters for everything. I like physical copies. I don't like games and DVDs that are all online. And, it is what it is. You'll rent and you'll be happy. You'll own nothing and like it. No, that's not how it works. Once again, if you have a good vehicle and you pay it off and you maintain it well, it's paid off. And then you stop having a monthly payment on your vehicle and you don't have to waste that revenue every month to rent. You're basically renting it from yourself. You're renting it from the bank. That's how you stay poor forever, constantly adding new monthly bills.
More importantly, there's 3 giant corporations, BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard, which own collectively, they own each other. So it's really one giant corporation, but they also own 89% of the S&P 500. They own everything. They've now decided to buy every single family home in America. So if they stay on the current trajectory, they will own 60% of the homes in this country, single family homes, by 2030. They literally are trying to buy.
Hold on. Did you hear that stat? Let's hear that one more time. Wind him up a little bit more.
Oh, if they stay on the current trajectory, they will own 60% of the homes in this country, single family homes, by 2030. They literally are trying to buy everything. And the head of it, Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, is on the board of the World Economic Forum. And what they've said, we want this great reset, which is you will own nothing and you will be happy. Well, they're on their way to making sure that we don't own anything.
I was doing a Bobby Kennedy Jr. impersonation. It was a little bit more of Helen Keller. I'll work on it. I'll bring it back one of these days. Usually I just jump into my impression. I don't know I'm doing it. But I should actually record my impressions and try to get better. They said, sir. Kenneth knows my Trump impersonation. It usually starts off with, "They said, sir." That is wild. Trying to own 60% if they stay on this trajectory. 6 in 10 homes will be owned by these investment bankers to make us own nothing and be happy. I literally just said that. I didn't watch this whole clip before, but he's on the right path. It's exactly what I'm saying.
On the board of the World Economic Forum, and what they've said, we want this great reset, which is you will own nothing and you will be happy. Well, they're on their way to making sure that we don't own anything. So you all probably have heard of people who are about to buy a home, and somebody comes in at the last minute with a cash or offer and snatches off out of the market.
Right.
And it's usually an LLC with an ambiguous name. But if you trace that up, you'll find it's owned by BlackRock.
Wow.
And they are, and
Terrible.
because they have a huge bank book, the cost of money and interest to them is tiny, which means they can outcompete your children. Your kids do not have a chance to buy that home because they can't outcompete BlackRock.
That needs to be criminal. That stuff is just brutal. I had a person living next to me recently. It was an Airbnb. I didn't want that. I didn't vote for that. I don't want some rando. I wanted someone that had skin in the game, someone that's going to be there for a while, someone I can watch my back, I'll watch theirs, someone that gives a shit, not just a nonstop roster of randos. Sounds like the dating scene, honestly. Alan saying the problem with education, it's how to balance a budget and save money and not just have vacation all the time. I know I'm so fortunate that I grew up in a time where on one hand, I would say several members of my family were far too stingy, far too scared of losing everything and just can't spend an extra dime. And so it's like everything was always a negotiation, a penny pinching moment. Everything had to be a deal. It's like there's a time and a place, but at some point you just got to get quality over a deal. But I'm very fortunate that I had people that taught me the value of dollars. I've told this story before, but I went to a baseball game, and it was during the Bash Brothers days. I went to a Cleveland Indians game. We must have been playing the A's or something, and the Bash Brothers were the biggest thing. And there's this super cool, they're hitting home runs. Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire, hitting home runs like crazy. And they had a t-shirt there, and it was like $25. And I'm like, hey, Dad, can I have $25? I want to get a shirt. He goes, $25 for a t-shirt? Are you out of your mind? No, I'm not giving you $25 for a t-shirt. He's like, we're coming to another game. Like they're one of the biggest things in baseball. They'll be selling this then. If I'll tell you what, if you want to, save your allowance and save your birthday money, you can come back and buy it on your own. I said, can I do extra chores around the house? He's like, all right. I said, okay. Darn it. Grumble, grumble, grumble. And I went home, man. I was like, hey, Mom, can I vacuum the floor for a quarter? Hey, can I do the dishes for 50 cents? Can I take out the trash? Can I clean this thing up? Can I, whatever it was. Can I clean out the car for a quarter? Can I do this for $1? And so I worked and saved, and I got a little here, a little there, and I started piling it up and like, all right, I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer. And I finally saved up. I had like $30 or something. I'm like, all right, cool. So I went to the next game, and sure enough, they didn't just have the Cleveland Indians gear and just the team that they were playing. It also had other stuff from Major League Baseball. So like they were the biggest thing, and they still had that shirt. And so we go, and my dad's like, all right, well, let's go to the merch line. Let's go see what they got. And I went and stood in line, and getting closer. And I'm like, never mind. We can just go get our seats. He's like, what do you mean? You've been pestering me forever. You want the shirt. And then you said, oh, let me do all this work so I can make money to get the shirt. Get the shirt. He's like, go ahead. Get the shirt. It's yours. Go ahead. And I looked at my dad and I said, you got to be crazy if you think I'm going to waste $25 on a stinking t-shirt. And it's all perspective. It's easy to whine and bitch and, well, my friends have a shirt like that. Well, I know my other friend got a shirt. Well, why can't I get? Gimme. Yeah. Then when I was finally empowered to bust my ass, and I know how many hours went into earning that money, I'm like, I'm not wasting $25 on a stupid t-shirt. That was a big lesson for me, man. That was one of like the biggest things I've ever learned. Here, I'm writing that down. I feel like I could expand on that for my stand-up comedy routine. Alan is saying, I own a 10-acre, 1900 built home. You buy what you can afford. Needs versus wants. Too many people think that they deserve it. No doubt, man. I was fortunate enough. I kept that place in Los Angeles for a while. I sold it, and it's enabled me to really double down, triple down, quadruple down on the new American media over the past few years. And when I moved, I looked around and found a good deal. And I got a house. It's not perfect, but you know what? I've done a lot to fix it up. New kitchen to the degree that I can. I painted the cabinets and changed out the granite countertop in the sink, just like I did in Los Angeles. Kept the cabinets and just gave it a facelift. Completely renovated the bathroom, just like I did in Los Angeles. Changed out all the fixtures. You know, brightens it up, makes it feel fresh. Windows are already new. Power wash the outside. Done this, done that. Adjusted this, tweaked that, improved that. Worked on landscaping. I put a ton of sweat equity in. But it is a very affordable house. There's actually a lot of house here for what it is. Yeah, but it's pseudo affordable. That's for damn sure. Alan saying it also helps to find your better half, a family environment. I quit drinking and drugs, worked 2 jobs in the Army Reserves, and your kids worked for their wants. Yeah, that's supposed to be what America is. Not sneak in the back door and now here get to hang out in a 4-star hotel. Like, get out of here. All right, let's go through some of these other things. This is the difference between leaving the Republican Party versus leaving the Democrat Party.
I'm leaving the Republican Party. Okay. May I ask why? I don't agree with the policies anymore, and I'm leaning left. Okay. Well, although we can agree to disagree, I really respect you as a friend. I've enjoyed our friendship, and if you ever want to talk about politics, we can, but we don't have to. Thanks. I appreciate that.
That's the name of our show, the Agree to Disagree Show. You should be able to have conversations. However, what's it like leaving the Democrat Party? Oh, boy. Let's see how unhinged this gets.
Of course. I'm leaving the Democratic Party. Oh, so you're racist, homophobic, a bigot, and a sexist. What? No, I'm still me. It's just, I don't align with your values anymore, and I find myself leaning more conservative. I mean, I never thought I'd say that. Well, we can disagree on politics, but we can't disagree on human values and human rights. I'm still me, the person you've known since 3rd grade, and I really have enjoyed our friendship. Well, last time I checked, I wasn't friends with Nazis.
Have you had this happen to you? I sure have. This one from the Philadelphia Eagles Chiefs game. This lady was caught doing witchcraft during the Super Bowl game. There's some voodoo down there in New Orleans, using the pin cushion, banging it into 15. That's Patrick Mahomes, right? Chris Quaglin sharing this video. He says this is his Jan 6 interrogation. FBI Special Agent Benjamin Fulp from the D.C. field office is the guy in blue. I was told to rat or I wouldn't see my family again. The story's echoed over and over. You can go to our Rumble account and see where we interviewed Ashley Babbitt's mother. We interviewed outside of the D.C. Gulag where the J6 prisoners were being held. We interviewed Stuart Rhodes from Oath Keepers when he was released. Yeah, I raise cats too. I have 2 cats. There's a few outdoor cats that have been coming by though. Alan raises chickens, turkeys, and get fresh eggs too. Yeah, man. That's what I need. That's what I need. Yeah, I would love some chickens. I eat a lot of eggs. They say eggs are the superfood. It's from President Trump. Okay, I guess I already told you about his executive orders on light bulbs. And they are more inefficient, but they're warmer. A lot of these blue light kind of mess with our circadian rhythms, and they're cold and they're whatever. I don't know. We need to just drop the price for energy. The last electric bill or the last gas bill, which one was it? Through the roof. I just got a new heater installed too. It should have been more energy efficient. I don't get why the cost is so much. It's insane. This is Elon saying a judge just blocked dropping the overhead charged on NIH grants from the outrageous 60% to a far more reasonable 15%. So a judge is blocking the drop in overhead charge on NIH grants. This judge is forcing the corruption to continue. WTF. Kyle Cheney saying a federal judge in Massachusetts just blocked it. I mean, make that make sense. Did I read this one from Trump? I'll say it anyway. Donald Trump here says billions of dollars of fraud, waste, and abuse already been found in the investigation of our incompetently run government. Now, certain activists and highly political judges want us to slow down or stop. Losing this momentum will be very detrimental to finding the truth, which is turning out to be a disaster for those involved in running our government. Much left to find. No excuses. Tom Homan talking about, look, I've said this for a long time. There is no limitation on how much the Republicans have to sacrifice in order to serve their country. Conversely, there is no amount that the Democrats will not sacrifice. How did I have that phrased? Republicans have to risk everything, and the Democrats are willing to sell out everything. They're willing to sell this country down the road. They don't care to keep power. Republicans risk everything by stepping into a position of power, and the Democrats are willing to sell anything out to the highest bidder to maintain their power. Exactly. Here's Tom Homan.
So President Trump deserves credit, not just securing that border, but in saving lives by securing that border. And Biden administration could have did the same thing. They knew how to do it. They just didn't want to do it because they undid everything Trump did. They would have just kept everything in place, would never have this issue we had. But why would they purposely unsecure a border? Because it's not incompetence, it's not mismanagement. They knew exactly what they were doing because they wrote over 90 executive orders destroying everything. It gave us the most secure border in my lifetime, my career. I think it's for a lot of reasons. I think there's some of them really truly believe in open borders. There should be no borders. Some think there's a future political benefit by these millions being future Democratic voters. But we don't even have to get there because they also overturned the Trump census rule, which means millions of illegal aliens will be counted in the next census in sanctuary cities, which would result in more House seats for Democrats. They sold this country out for future political power. So President Trump deserves credit. Not
There you
just
go.
securing.
Sell us out for political power. Yeah, and you gotta. Yeah, the Trump census rule. No, you can't have millions of illegal aliens counted in the census in sanctuary cities. No more House seats for Democrats. They sold this country out for future political power. No way. Stop that. Hard stop. By the way, here's our earlier show from this morning, the TNAM AM show. Look at me. I'm in a diner. That's a pretty cool backdrop. I like that. All right, let's bounce over. That's the end of what I had here for you on our X feed. Any new breaking news that I wanted to show you? Epstein documents release. FBI leaker identified. Let's see. Epstein. No, they don't have the name. They don't have. Okay. The FBI leaker. Nope. Still don't have the name there. So nothing new breaking on that front. Let me switch to our Instagram feed. Share this tab instead. I think I can do this side by side. Yes. Yes. I like the X feed, but I just like the spacing. I love how neat this is. All right, here, let's go ahead and refresh this, see what we have on the Instagram feed. A couple of stories, I'm sure. All right, let's take a look at this one. Got to go back to the other screen. There we are. Lindsay Penny says Bill Gates vaccine organization Gavi was awarded $4.8 million. I'm sorry. $4.8 million. I said it twice. Nearly $5 billion in taxpayer money has been sent to a single organization, Gavi, This is the Bill Gates Vaccine Organization. 2 grants are still active. The $4 billion grant ends August 2030. No wonder Gates is speaking out against Doge dismantling USAID. DJ Freedom Rocket says Biden made second jobs a necessity for basic living. I want the America where only one parent needs to work 40 hours a week to provide for a family of 6, have 2 cars, and could go on family vacations twice a year, just like how my parents had it. And we said it's called Erase the Federal Reserve Private Banking Cartel immediately. All right, here, this one's about Starmer over there in the UK. Elon in the middle of this calling it election interference. Let's take a listen to this conversation. All these countries, man, we're all connected. The more across the globe that we have with common sense people instead of despotic totalitarians, the better. This is a global battle between us for freedom and the globalists for indentured servitude.
Is why is the guy who is probably the richest man in the world setting out, as he has done, saying that he is going to undermine the British government, that he's trying to get rid of a recently democratically elected government in this country. That is not good for democracy.
You belong to a party that sent activists to America to actively plot to, and I quote, kill Elon Musk's Twitter. Labour activists in a centre for countering digital hate that was set up by a certain Morgan McSweeney, happens to be Keir Starmer's chief of staff. I wonder why Elon Musk has suddenly got a really strong interest in Keir Starmer and the Labour Party. Because let's be honest, Barry, all of those statements that Labour MPs made about Donald Trump, all of those bizarre statements they made about Elon Musk, guess what? These guys don't really like that. They don't like being abused. They don't like being insulted. So they're going to call you out when you fail, like when you fail with these white working class girls in communities.
Well, look, it is about the richest man in the world trying to undermine democracy. That is wrong. And if you can't see that, Matt, then...
The richest man in the world undermining democracy. These people get their goofy talking points and they just repeat them over and over.
I would be very surprised.
I've spent more of my time recently looking at how the Labour Party has been undermining free speech and free expression.
We're going to have to put it on because...
There you go. Starmer's
here.
Right, Barry. What was the last part of that? Well, anyway, Starmer's in panic mode, you saw. Yeah, the UK is pretty important. Yeah, Elon Musk changed his name to Harry Bowles. Harry Bowles, everybody. All right. Elon Musk, aka Harry Bowles, says at this point, I am 100% certain that the magnitude of the fraud in the federal entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, welfare, disability, etc., exceeds the combined sum of every private scam you've ever heard by far. And it's not even close. I believe that to be likely. How could it not be? None of this makes sense. The numbers don't make sense. The spending doesn't make sense. I really did like this. This is from Representative Brandon Gill. Where's he from? Congressman Brandon Gill. Well, anyway, he did a great job on the floor today. I think this is from today.
Kind of funny to me because we've seen such outrage over Doge as if this is something that's new. Whenever I've been talking to my constituents in North Texas for months and months and months about President Trump coming to the White House and getting Elon Musk involved in cleaning up waste in our federal government, it seems to me that leftists are apoplectic not because our tax dollars are being wasted on idiotic things, but because all of it is being exposed all of the sudden, which I think is certainly a beautiful thing. So much of this government waste has been operating in the shadows where the American people don't know about it and has been largely unaccounted for. And so many of these programs wouldn't exist and will not exist now that they're being exposed. It's kind of...
Yeah. Huh. We restrict activity to protect the community. Yeah, they banned my account. They suspended my Instagram feed for the New American Media this morning. So now they're not letting me post. I hate Meta so much. Once again, this is just the lady. FEMA's chief financial officer, Mary Comins, just fired for illegally funding migrant luxury hotels in New York City against the orders of President Trump. All right. I think we've touched on all the major stories. Let's make sure we get the odds and ends here. Charlie Kirk, is this a thread? Nope, it's just one. Charlie Kirk saying, Democrats have had all of their weapons taken from them. No one trusts the media. Lawfare is over. Slush funds are ending. Their activists are exhausted. The American people love Trump. They are a political party in total exile and chaos. Keep charging. Well said. I did share this to you, the 4 FEMA employees that were fired. That was the lead story today. Good on them. Watch our documentary, Hurricane Helene, Help on the Way. It's on our Rumble and YouTube channels. Oh, here's a good one. Remember we said President Trump is going to give Hamas until Saturday at noon to release every hostage, or else all hell's going to break loose. And Pete Hegseth is going to get to launch his first operation. You're holding an American hostage. You know what? You deserve everything coming your way. You don't mess with us. Maybe you mess with Biden, but you do not mess with us. This is the real America you're about to figure out. What's the meta, huh? Yeah, Meta. Ugh. Trash company. All right. Here's about USAID giving, well, David Kate. Let's hear this piece here about USAID and where they put their money.
If you thought USAID just funds ridiculous things like drag queen shows in Colombia, then think again. Look at what we have here. USAID reportedly bankrolled Al-Qaeda's terrorist college tuition in Colorado. Going all the way back to 1990, we can find a document that shows us that USAID provided grant money to this individual who is a high-ranking official in Al-Qaeda. So let me get this straight. U.S. taxpayers' money went to cover this individual's education who literally wanted to destroy America. And if you think that this is just a right-wing conspiracy or something like that, here's the actual document from 1990. USAID provides full funding. But here's the thing, it's not the first time, or it's not one of many times that USAID nearly gave money to terrorist organizations. Here's another good example of it. USAID gave nearly $1 million to Gaza charity, which has direct ties to Hamas.
Okay, so
Bayader for environment.
Yeah, I guess we just looped it again. These, I like Instagram, but they loop it and they're like, hold on, I think I just saw this video. Jeffrey Tucker. Oh, geez, I got to change the aspect ratio. Jeffrey Tucker says, pay attention to what has happened over the last days. Several appointed federal judges on their own subjective judgment and using all their power have written pieces of paper that overruled the wishes of 74.2 million Americans who have expressed their will. Elon says we're witnessing an attempted coup of American democracy by radical left activists posing as judges. Their will concerning the shape of the regime and the rules in the shape of the regime that rules them. Instead, they say permanent bureaucrats should rule all without any say from the voters who pay all the bills. That's called tyranny. Exactly right, Jeffrey Tucker, says attorney Bobby Ann Cox. This is the demoralizing justice system we have right now. Activist judges who overstep their authority and do not uphold our sacred Constitution. In my work, I sue the government to stop tyranny. I win when I have an elected judge. Then appointed appellate judges overturn my victories, defying the will of the people, i.e. our Constitution. It is a huge problem. So why not just ignore them like Biden ignored the Supreme Court? Despite the Supreme Court ruling, Biden has forgiven student debt for millions. Is it enough for voters? Democracy in America is being destroyed by a judicial coup. An activist judge is not a real judge. That's what MSNBC reported and said. Harry Bowles. Yeah, what's the point of elections if judges can override everything that a president does? Judge Amy Berman Jackson becomes the 5th judge today to block an aspect of Trump's early term orders, this time the firing of ethics watchdog Hampton Dillinger, and night isn't over yet. So these are orders. Amuse is reporting an Obama-appointed judge threatened Trump and his team with arrest if they don't restore every last dime of funding that has been paused or canceled. I'm sorry, what? If the president wants to delay any payment, he will need to justify his request to the judge's personal satisfaction. Elon says what happens in that those who want the government corruption and waste to continue will shop around the country for an activist judge to do their bidding. It is an undemocratic and unconstitutional power grab by a tiny group of radical leftists. And here you go, Judge John J. McConnell ordering Trump to resume all paused funding and restore all withheld funds. I mean, I guess we're in the thick of it now, huh? Mike Davis says a good account to follow. The president of the United States has all federal executive power under Article 2 of the Constitution. Courts can stop him if he tries to steal power from other branches, like Biden did with student loan forgiveness. But activist judges stopping the president from exercising executive power, like auditing Treasury payments or recalling Foreign Service officers, is a radical, dangerous, and unacceptable assault on the Constitution. The appellate courts must immediately stay these lawless ex parte TROs. The Supreme Court must prepare itself to use the emergency docket to avert a constitutional crisis. Congress must use its power of oversight in the purse to stop these lawless politicians in robes from subverting the will of the American voters. When courts lose their legitimacy, they lose their funding. He continues, President Trump campaigned on the fact that he is going to bring bold reforms to Washington, D.C., including DOJ's mandate to end waste, fraud, and abuse. Activist judges interfering with this mandate are setting very dangerous precedents with their rulings against him. It's on. This one's interesting. I guess maybe let's play this one out. A taco truck in Memphis, Tennessee released security footage showing 4 men in plain clothes approaching the truck and then detaining the employees. So this is an ICE raid. There you go. Oh, geez. I wonder if they're going to flag our page because of this thing.
Just I'll let you call in this. We're not going back in here, okay? I'm not doing that. Only telephone. You can do it in a minute, okay? Yeah. I'm not doing that here. Nope, we're not doing that. Only telephone.
Going after people now. I mean, look. What do you think the nation is going to look like? I don't know the story here. I'm willing to look at the details of it. Oh, they turned the music off. Oh, yeah. Anyway, New York Post reporting that, Memphis, Tennessee. Our community is scared. Taco truck raided by plainclothes agents. What is this?
This clip, Rob, if you don't mind playing this clip. I just love this clip because
Patrick Bet David, the PBD podcast.
It kind of goes to what Cuomo said. It prompted me to watch this clip. We're not going to get into it, but this is what Scott Jennings, who is the current owner of CNN, he said this.
Scott Jennings, the current owner of CNN. Yeah, he sums it up really well. Scott Jennings is man, I don't know where he came from, but he's crushing it.
I'm going to play this clip. Go for it. Go ahead, Rob.
What is currently the dumbest strategy in politics, which is Democrats taking the 20% side of every 80-20 issue in America. USAID, people want this pared down. They want it streamlined. They want to know where the money is going. Democrats have a meltdown. Today, Donald Trump signs executive order on keeping boys out of girls' sports. Democrats take the 20 side of that issue as well. All these issues, this is like Trump's superpower, finding a bunch of 80-20 issues, getting on the 80, and everybody who's sort of reflexively against him gets on the 20. And now the Democratic Party has like a 31% approval rating. This is why.
This clip, Rob, if you don't mind playing.
Look, that sums it up perfectly. It's Trump derangement syndrome. They have to take every opposite position against Donald Trump, and it turns them into a lunatic fringe party. It's insanity. Accept the win where it is. They can't. They cannot help themselves. Let them destroy themselves. They've earned it. The Democrats do not deserve to be trusted or near. They don't deserve to be near any political power ever again. They have forever tainted the right for us to ever trust them. This one is from
During your tenure, sir, you have received over $2.1 million in.
They're talking to the Postmaster General DeJoy's leadership. Postmaster General DeJoy. USPS's deficit and prices have both increased, and so has his compensation. Why?
Compensation. $2.1 million in compensation just during your tenure. So what bothers me is this. During your tenure, service standards have gone down. Affordability of mail has gone down. Your compensation has gone way, way, way up. And that's deeply, deeply troubling.
Democrat way?
During your tenure, sir, you...
All right, there's just a clip on that. They're going after the USPS, something to be aware of. This one here for speaking for the children says kids didn't ask for drag queens. Kids didn't ask for pronouns. Kids didn't ask about gender ideologies. It was the adults who asked the kids about those things. That's not normal. Never was. Never will be. You'll never change my mind. Leave the kids alone. Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. Come on. This is my Nimbus approach moment. You guys see Nimbus? I don't know. Is he on the screen? Almost. Let's see. There he is. Look, Nimbus. You're a superstar. You're a superstar, buddy. Brr. Okay. Next story. I think I skipped over one. 2. It's from allegedly from Mike Flynn. General Flynn. Hi. Nimbus has this new thing where he like reaches for me. He'll paw me. It's very cute. General Mike Flynn issues a final warning. This is my final warning as it relates to confirmations of real Donald Trump's nominees. If there are people inside of the ODNI, the CIA, or the FBI that are working to subvert the nominations of Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, or Robert Kennedy Jr., I am writing to let you know. You better stop now and think before you go any further. There are so many people that are ready to be whistleblowers, and there is so much reporting currently flowing out, not classified leaks, but leaks of subversive and treasonous behavior. This has to end, and if it doesn't, you will be caught, and you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. All right. Almost at the end here, Charlie Kirk saying Democrats have had, I already read this one. Keep charging. No one trusts the media. Lawfare is over. Slush funds are ended. Their activists are exhausted. American people love Trump. Their political party in total exile and chaos. Keep charging. Yes, Charlie, well said.
Why?
And I shared this. I just thought this was kind of funny. This is how post-Super Bowl research is being done. I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, what is all this stuff about? I don't really understand this this Super Bowl drama, this Kendrick Lamar stuff. So she kind of speaks for me.
Why doesn't Kendrick Lamar like Drake? What is a diss track? Did Serena Williams date Drake? When did Serena Williams date Drake? All right, last one. Was Kendrick wearing flare jeans? Now that's the weirdest part, I think. Why
I think she calls him Jake Drake.
doesn't Kendrick Lamar like Drake? What?
That's funny. That's me. I'm going, I don't know what's happening. Let me get caught up on this. All right. But that pretty much concludes the stuff that I wanted to show you on today's episode. If you enjoyed today's program, thank you so much. Appreciate Kenneth for joining the show. Alan, appreciate you joining the show. Everybody out there watching, please hit like and hit subscribe. The New American Media is on Telegram and Signal. We're at TNAM and TNAM Chat. TNAM and TNAM Chat. We have a page on Facebook, Instagram, Truth Social, Rumble, and YouTube under The New American Media. We have our podcast, The Agree to Disagree Show, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Our X feed is at American_media_. Patreon.com. Let me put that one up. Patreon.com/The New American Media is a way that you could subscribe to. Sign up to be a monthly donor. Appreciate everyone that has. You can also send through Venmo at Brian Engelman or PayPal at Fuzz Installment. They're all on the screen. And Brian Engelman at Cash App. Hashtag BRIANENGELMAN. Those are great ways to support the program because we don't even have advertisers yet. Maybe I need to get some advertisers. You see Nimbus right here? He's giving me his paw. He's reaching. He's like, hey, give me some attention, buddy. I know. I'll give you a brushing as soon as the show's over, buddy. But yeah, those are the ways that you can follow us. And we'll be back tomorrow morning with another TNAM AM show as early as possible. Tuesday and Thursday, we'll do Agree to Disagree at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then I think at 5 o'clock on Thursday, we're going to do the Strictly Football show with Mike Barra. It'll be our final regular season show, and then we'll talk about the draft coming up. But yeah, we've done that as well. So keep your eyes peeled. Thank you, everybody in the TNAM universe, for following us today. Signing out for now. I appreciate you.